It's November the 29th. Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan with your Wednesday weather update as we head in towards the weekend with a big low coming out of Australia and heading directly towards New Zealand, where it will then completely fall apart. So let's take a look and see what is happening on the animated wind map. You can see this low pressure zone, really big one, producing thousands of thunderstorms overnight across New South Wales in particular, but just about every state, in fact, every state except for Tasmania had thunderstorms overnight. So this low pressure zone drifting towards the coast, very heavy rain about to come in there. It's already started. But on the New Zealand side, we've got a southwesterly flow, a little cooler if you're in the wind today. The sun is still very hot though. And this high pressure zone is the reason why we're getting the southwest flow and Australia's getting low pressure. Talked about this for the last week now. This high, long way south. Normally it would be up here over the top of Sydney. So because it's tracked further south, that's encouraging cooler, more sort of spring-like weather for New Zealand, and for Australia, low pressure zones and thunderstorms. So there's a fair bit of rain on the way just in this corner here, but mostly smack bang on the New South Wales Victoria border, 200 millimetres or so of rain coming in here, mainly between Eden and Mallacoota. So between Eden and Mallacoota, that is the heaviest of that rain falling right now in that southeastern corner. Showers and thunderstorms elsewhere. And I did say we've got a New Zealand map. That comes up in a couple of maps' time. So here is Thursday's setup, driving in that heavy rain here along the border. On the New Zealand side though, high pressure, it's invisible out at sea, but links up with that big high south of Australia. So that keeps all of that over onto the Australian side for us for the rest of the week here in New Zealand. A few showers are around and a little bit cooler in the mornings due to that southerly wind. On Friday, another cool morning, but a warm afternoon on the way as the sun comes out. That could be hot for inland areas. A couple of isolated showers around, nothing too major. And the low in Australia weakens a little bit and the rain certainly starts to ease along that New South Wales, Victoria border in that southeastern corner. So let's have a look at the rain for New Zealand now, the next 3 days from 9 o'clock Friday morning. So the low comes out from Australia where it dropped 200 millimetres and it drops about 100 millimetres or so on the west coast. And it is around Arthur's Pass, so that will affect some of you driving from the west coast to Canterbury and vice versa. Heavy falls around here, so take care if you're driving. There just may be a few rock falls on the roads and things like that. Mostly dry in the east. That is the good news. I'm sure you're glad to hear about that. So here is Saturday's setup for the North Island. Mostly dry. Might be a little light shower to the north here, nothing to worry about. In the south, the rain starts to build up on the west coast. Most places are mild though. We've got northerly winds coming down for almost every part of New Zealand, maybe a bit more of a nor'easter for some of you on the coast. And in Australia, up comes that cooler southerly around the high. As we go through into Sunday, the low from Australia moves in and it gets decimated basically by the Southern Alps. It falls apart. So that leaves us with a windy, unsettled setup. So the first weekend of summer on the meteorological calendar will be like spring. But that's not surprising to many of you or to me because we have different dates for our seasons and it doesn't really matter which one you go with. But the first of the month is the meteorological date. Then we've got the astronomical date, and that's all to do with the Earth's rotation around the sun. And that means we've got another 3 or 4 more weeks left of spring. And you will notice the spring weather pattern in New Zealand usually does hover around in December, and it does around the southeastern corner of Australia as well. So don't expect a sudden change to summer, but we do have an unsettled Sunday on the way, and it'll be mild in the north and cooler in the south. And we go through to Monday, and this is where things get a little bit interesting into next week. High pressure down here finally starting to come into the New Zealand area. But there's also this funny little area here stuck in between this high and the big one out here to the east. So there could be a bit of rain that gets trapped between the two systems. Now, if you live over in Hawke's Bay and Gisborne, you're probably screaming at me or wanting to put your fingers in your ears. There is rain coming through here. The good news is the heaviest falls here on Monday look to be over in Eastern Bay of Plenty, not over in Hawke's Bay. That's the good news. But as we go through to Tuesday, there just might be a bit of rain that once again curves around. At this stage, no rain warning criteria, but just wanting to let you know a little bit more rain on the way. Our next Climate Watch update, that's out today. if you live over in Hawke's Bay, please do take a look at it. There is some optimism in the forecast, but a little bit of short-term rain still yet to come through. So that is the forecast for New Zealand and Australia for the next few days ahead into the weekend and next week. So like I say, Climate Watch, our last one for this year. It is out today, a little bit earlier than usual. We want to cover December, January, February, and March, and what is going on with El Nino. When does it peak? Why is it not like El Nino at your place? We're covering all of those questions. So Climate Watch, the last one for 2023, it is out today. That's all from me. See you tomorrow with our next New Zealand update. And of course, our next 7-day Australia only update is also out tomorrow. So we'll see you then.